On this episode of Metal America, we're at Showman Fabricators in Bayonne, New Jersey, and today we're going to take a look at all the fabrication that goes into the entertainment industry. I'm Stephanie Hoffman, and I've been in the welding industry for more than 20 years, working as a welder, fabricator, instructor, and now with the American Welding Society. Where I get to travel the country meeting people who are building incredible things while introducing the next generation to careers in welding and metal fabrication. So today I'm here with Lucas Hickman. He is the shop foreman for Showman Fabricators?
For the metal shop.
For the metal shop, okay. So tell me a little bit about what we're going to see here and a little bit about Showman Fabricators.
Right. Well, typically, traditionally we'd be called a scene shop, but in the last 10 years we've gone beyond just building scenery, where we've done art installations, theatrical fabrication, live events, window displays, the whole branch of live entertainment and just spectacle.
So anything that we would recognize?
Yeah, a lot of things to recognize. Pretty much if you've turned on your TV and watched the news in the last 5 years, you've seen something that we built. We do a lot of broadcast television, a lot of news sets, CNN, CNBC, MSN, Fox News.
Oh, wow.
The list goes on.
All the big ones.
Right. Plus,
that's awesome.
If you've been shopping, like in the New York City area, we do a lot of Tiffany storefronts that we've done.
Yeah. Is that Sesame Street?
This is Sesame Street.
And everybody knows Sesame Street.
Yeah, this is one of the Sesame Street sets from that's recent in production. We did this back when we lived in, we worked in Long Island City.
Lucas, I'm super excited. It seems like you guys do a lot of really cool work, so I'm imagining you must have a ton of different tradespeople downstairs.
Absolutely. We have welders, we have carpenters, we have scenic artists, we have a graphics team, we have technical designers. It's a big collaborative effort, and we have a couple things going on right now we'd like to show you.
Awesome. Well, let's go check it out.
All right, we're going this way.
Lucas, so it looks like you've taken us to an area with some flat sheet lasers.
Yeah, so this is our metal CNC department. So this is how a lot of our work starts for us.
Okay.
We have a large laser right here that has some material that's about to be loaded up. And then we have a big water jet right here. So typically we cut our sheet metal, stainless steel, steel up to 3/8 of an inch, occasionally 1/2 inch on this as well.
Okay.
All our aluminum 1/4 inch and over, we intend to use our water jet.
Where does your parts go next?
So typically after the shift cuts them, they'll lay them out on a couple of these tables. They'll put a piece of paper like this that shows the layout detail, the job number, the draftsman, the part number on it.
Right.
So I know where the process and who it goes to next.
Okay.
So next step would be taking these and then bring them over to this machine that we have back here that will take all the dross off of them, take any burrs that are on the part, and then we either bring it to our press brake or we clean it, wash it, and weld it to an assembly.
All right, well, let's go check out it's not a sander though, is it?
It's kind of a sander. It's a sander, it's a brush. We call it the Honey Badger.
All right, let's go check out the Honey Badger.
All right, so what we have here is, this is our swing grinder, known as the Badger, but we call it the Honey Badger. And this is where we're able to take some of our parts and we're able to flatten them and normalize them. Because there's going to be some dross, some burrs, and if we take them to a next step of going to the press brake that we have right here, we need to be flat so when it slides across the V openings that we're not getting hung up on a burr.
Yeah.
Plus all our stuff is painted, and this applies a clean surface and a tooth for the plane to stick for our DTM.
It's so simple. I want one of these at home.
It definitely...
and it's dual-headed.
Yeah, for a manual machine, it's definitely saved us a lot of time.
All right, so we got our parts cleaned up. Before we go to the next thing, am I able to try this? Because I've never used one before.
I think we could get you to try it. so typically how we start on the floor is we'll get a construction drawing,
Okay.
right? So a drawing is produced in-house by our technical design team. It's taking the designer's rendering and broken it down into separate drawing plates where we can physically make it so it appears to be like what the designer drew.
Right.
But what's not usually not in the designer drawing is how do the TV monitors, the cameras, the electrical, because everything has LED in it, there's light boxes everywhere. Everything has some kind of technology and a video monitor display across the bottom. How do you get all that information?
Like what we're looking at here. These
Yeah,
are where
so
the video
these
is
cutouts right here, which would be on those plates right there,
Right.
are when an anchor or a pundit is behind an anchor desk.
Yeah.
They have
Their notes are
they
down
have their
there,
notes
yeah.
on it. They're usually on an iPad or
Yeah.
some kind of tablet.
Most people think of welders as just people who are building, you know, skyscrapers and pipeline welders, but there's welding in everything. Even when you're watching Sports Center,
Exactly.
you're looking at something that a welder had their hands on.
Right. It may not be structural, it's not holding up a building, but it's the same process.
Yeah.
Right?
It's awesome. So once you get something assembled like this, what would be going on next with it?
The next we put it across the shop to the carpentry shop, and they would start cladding it in the different elements of wood.
Lucas, we're looking at some aluminum now. What is this?
So what this is a column cover for a summer festival that's happening in the city.
Okay,
So-
New York City we're talking about.
New York City,
All right,
Lincoln
the
Center,
city.
the city, all right? So what this is you have theatrical staging, so you have some big truss units going up.
Okay.
So to make it more of an attractive environment, those trusses are covered by something.
Okay.
So this is basically a four-sided facade. We see three sides here, and it'll have a removable back
Right there.
that'll cover a structural truss element for portable staging.
And then this will be like covered in something.
Yeah, and this will then end up getting covered in an acrylic mirror.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
but it's a two-way mirror so that they can light up the inside, and then we have a 20-foot
Oh,
light box as
awesome.
well.
So
Yep.
it's like a light show. So what union is it that you guys are a part of?
All right, so it's the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, so
Oh.
IATSE.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. You've seen our logo in pretty much any TV show, movie you've ever watched is at the very end of the credits. Here we're represented by Local 59, which
Okay.
represents Hudson County.
Okay.
Back when we were in Long Island City, Queens, we were represented by Local 4.
All right.
And the difference between our CBA, our locals, is that we do live entertainment. We're stagehands by trade. So some of my guys who you see welding one day, they'll be at an arena rigging, pushing
Get
a box,
out.
installing a stage.
Wow.
We're dealing with a group of very talented, multitasking individuals.
That's incredible.
I personally, I've done like 36 hours straight, 24-hour
Yeah.
blockers. Like,
you have
it's the
deadlines.
nature.
You
You
have-
have a very
yeah.
hard deadline. Someone has an event that's happening,
Yeah.
the space is rented out, it's a very finite amount of time, and you have to bring in all the scenery,
done.
the display, whatever
The show
it is.
must go on,
The
right?
show must go on. But our business is to try to keep the client happy, keep the show going,
Right.
keep the jobs coming in, producing a high quality work, and then moving on to the next thing.
So speaking of moving on to the next thing, can I do some welding now and move on from
I think we have a joint
watching
that,
everybody
that
else
you are
weld?
very
I'm ready to
capable of
weld.
welding.
Lucas. What the heck am I looking at? Where did you take me?
All right, so here we're up on our setup deck, which is where we take things to be teched together, which in the industry is what we call assembling them, putting them together. We typically put together everything 100% before it's shipped out, because we want to make sure that it goes together and that it works, and that everyone's getting what they paid for, what they expect.
Right.
So what we have right here is a turntable and a wagon combined for a new performance space that's going up in Brooklyn in the near future.
A turntable and a wagon.
Yeah, so it's a wagon because it's on wheels, so it can move from place to place. And the reason that this is a wagon is because it needs to be able to not block a loading dock door when they need to bring large things in. So 90% of the time, it's going to be a stationary turntable. It'll lag to the ground, bolt to the ground, and you'll have a rotating disc that would go on top of these guys, platform that goes around here. So what we're seeing is a structure that the carpenter started to apply to make the finished look on it.
And there's something that goes in the middle? Or?
Yeah, so in order to get everything to spin, for it to move, and for it not to be permanently anchored in the ground, there's gonna be a very complicated, if you ask me, complicated motor assembly in there to basically wrap this whole ring with a wire, have a turnaround shift back into here to a motor on a winch, and so the whole thing is spun by a big wire grommet that goes around. This is both a turntable and a wagon, and for the theater industry, it's pretty standard thing that you see in many theaters.
So this whole center is one piece?
Yeah, so again, like everything we need to do needs to be able to ship into a truck. It needs to get through a door, and this needs to be assembled again. So yes, it would be very simple for us in the shop to roll bend a bunch of rings as full circles and make it as one.
But
except
good luck getting this in the door.
No, performers are coming to Bayonne, for a stage at our shop. So yeah, we have to build everything in sections so that it can be broken apart for storage, it can be broken apart for maintenance. And then if they need to, if the client wants, they can switch a venue later time and then bring this with them.
Well, I think we definitely learned a lot about the entertainment industry and what it takes to make all that stuff.
That's a little part of it. There's a lot of trades, a lot of talents, a lot of skilled individuals that bring everything together.
I guess this is the end of the line, at least for you guys, and maybe this part, right?
Yeah, for me, because now it's the carpenter's time to plat it out, make it look beautiful, and automation to get their gear inside so it works as a turntable.
Yeah, this was freaking fantastic. I feel like I learned so much today about.
I'm glad you guys could come by.
All that stuff that we see on TV. Who would have thought? I didn't. I would have never thought all these.
It's not purchased on Amazon. It's made by individuals, highly skilled, and custom. Everything is built to order aspect.
Well, it's awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time on Metal America.